Hello. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Footprints. I'm your host, Anthony Davis. I'm an educator at BHS. That's Beverly High School, for those folks who don't know. And we're sitting down today with an inspiring mind, someone who leaves a lasting footprint on the world. And today, my guest is Jason M. Pratt from Life Solutions Group, right? And Jay is the president, actually, of Life Solutions. So let me give you a little background on Jay, because I got it all right here, okay? All right? He's a seasoned financial professional specializing in guiding clients and organizations through complex financial landscapes, which is kind of cool. He's obviously the Life Solutions Group president, and he leads a team offering specialized and personalized, sophisticated financial solutions, providing a boutique family office atmosphere. I like that. That's pretty cool. He's got over 15 years of experience in management, operations, marketing, consulting, and talent acquisition. We're going to talk about something that he just came up with, partners with a bunch of other folks. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show my buddy, and we're going to also talk about me coaching him when he was a freshman in high school. We're going to talk about that. Jason M. Pratt from Life Solutions Group.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, listen, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
I'm excited.
It's my pleasure. First thing off the bat, tell me something about yourself, Jay, that nobody knows. Could be something quirky, could be something funny.
So it's funny because I've seen some of your episodes, so I knew it was coming, right? And it wasn't easy knowing that it was coming, right? So I thought about it, and I'll go with this. So I signed an NDA, so I don't know how much I can say, but right before COVID, I filmed a reality show with my family that, because of COVID, never aired.
Oh, interesting.
So basically the premise, and again, I don't know how much I can say, but it was essentially like an Amazing Race type show, adventure, where our entire family went to a country, had to navigate, do scavenger hunts and the whole nine, right? It was gonna be on NBC. It was a big deal.
How cool is that?
So then what happened was COVID hit, and the nature of the show, where it was travel, interacting with people, the network didn't have an appetite for it based on everything that was going on. So it got tabled and never got picked up.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, but man, that is pretty cool to know.
The experience happened, right?
Yeah,
so the experience is awesome. Every once in a while I'll see pictures that pop up in my memories and I'm like, man, like that would have been cool if it aired.
Oh, for sure. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's a nice little nugget.
Did you?
I did not. I did not expect that, but I like it. I like that. Let's talk about light and sort of like meaningful things that you've done so far. You kind of guide clients, obviously, through like complex financial situations and landscapes. So what's the first financial mountain you've ever climbed yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that for most people, mine would be the purchase of my first house. So, growing up, that's kind of like the American dream, right? Buy a house, raise a family.
Walk us through the process of that, though. That's kind of tough, right?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta save, right? You gotta save money. So for me, I got married, had my first child, and bought my first house. I think my wife will kill me if I'm wrong, but I would say all within like a 12-month period. Right, so there was a lot going on. But it's just the discipline to put money aside and save money so that you're prepared when the time comes to take action and do that, But it's a big purchase. And
no doubt.
I will say I'm very lucky that I'm not buying my first house now.
Yeah, I know, right? The market is really crazy.
I don't even know how you can do that.
Ooh, you can't. And you better be a millionaire.
That's scary.
Right?
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you did hear it first. He is married. Jason, how long have you been married?
14 years.
14 years. And how many children do we have?
I have 4 daughters.
Okay, so they are Piper.
Peyton.
Oh, Peyton.
Yep, so Peyton's 14 this week.
Okay, oh.
Kyla and Cameron are 12.
Okay.
And Piper's my youngest, she's 8.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, Jason, or Jay, as I love to affectionately call him, is a twin. And he actually has twins, right?
Yep, I do.
Twin daughters?
Yep, twin daughters.
And they play basketball.
They do.
Right? And what else? They play softball as well?
Yep, so softball, basketball, try to switch off every other season.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all right.
It's awesome.
So check this out. I'm going to read something to you, ladies and gentlemen, that I kind of liked, and I'm glad he sent this to me. So this is Jason's basketball. Oh, I'm going to say Jay because I
Yeah,
keep calling
Jay.
him
Let's
Jason.
go with Jay.
Let's go with Jay.
Yeah, let's go
So this is Jay's basketball career, ladies and gentlemen. 1,276 career points at Gloucester High School, by the way, which, by the way, I'm a Gloucester resident, been there for 35 years. My wife was born and bred there.
Yep.
Her grandmother used to own a restaurant many years ago down the Rocky Neck, the Rudder.
Yeah, nice.
Jay is a 2015 Hall of Fame inductee to Gloucester Hall of Fame. That's pretty cool. Now, this is what I really love. Point guard at Cushing and won Offensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a good experience.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Cushing was, so obviously you mentioned I'm a twin. John and I backcourt together. John was a point guard. I was a shooting guard. Mm-hmm. After Gloucester High, we had a lot of success there, but we thought a PG year would do a lot of good for us. Mm-hmm. And it was eye-opening. At the time, and you probably remember, playing for your public school was the thing to do. In the public school setting, I wasn't that familiar with New England Prep. Then I got into New England Prep, and I realized that's a whole another level, different game,
sir.
right? So every team you're playing against probably had anywhere from 1 to 3 D1 players on the roster, right? So it was unbelievable.
Yeah, no question. I can definitely speak to that because I coach at Pingree. I've been there for 5 years.
Yep.
And we don't do PGs,
right.
But we try to recruit as many kids as we can, and we get a lot of guys that reclass, which is really cool. So I mean, it's interesting that the whole level of basketball is completely different.
Yeah, my younger brother went to Pingree.
Yes, indeed.
played for Gibbs.
Yes, for Steve Gibbs.
Yeah.
Steve has been there for a long, long time. Believe
Steve's
me,
great.
I've been on Steve's staff for 5 years, and it's been wonderful. Now, you redshirted and went to St. Joe's.
Yep.
In Maine. How did that go?
It was good. I mean, St. Joe's it's a factory out in southern Maine. Great basketball program. Ended up being the wrong fit.
Yeah.
So for me, at that point, doing a PG year, going to St. Joe's, I just wanted to go where I was comfortable. That led me to Fitchburg State. During the process of getting recruited at Gloucester High and then Cushing, Jack Scott, who was the head coach at Fitchburg, was everywhere. He went to my spring games. He went to my fall games. He went to prep school, Gloucester High games. Just a loyal guy.
Yeah.
And at the time, I just wanted to play for a guy that I could trust, that I knew had my back and loved my style of play. So I picked up the phone. I said, Jack, I'm looking to transfer. Let's make it happen. Sadly enough, after 1 year, he had to step down because his mom was sick. And I'm like, man, I'm in Fitchburg for Jack, and Jack's gone.
And Jack's gone? Like, wait a minute. What happened here?
How did this happen? You know?
Get the rug pulled out.
But again, it goes back to just you learn in life and you overcome obstacles and you grow from it. And, you know, my path wasn't easy in college, but you grow from it and you learn from it. And you know, at the end of the day, it makes you a better person.
Oh, no question. That's the beautiful part of being an educator at Beverly High School and also a coach. It's like basketball and education are very synonymous with each other, and you know you got to overcome, and you teach, and
life.
Oh, for sure,
it's awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah,
it is awesome. I love this fact, and I remember this, by the way. Jay dropped 77 points in an 18-plus summer league game. Ladies and gentlemen, 24 three-point shots were made in this game, and I knew he could shoot when I saw him when he was a freshman. And I remember Coach Cahill asked me, he said, can I play these guys at varsity level? I said, you don't have a choice, man. You're going to have to play these guys. These guys are good enough. They'll get stronger, they'll get better, and they'll do what's necessary.
It's funny, that game, I almost didn't go to it. And I remember talking to John, my brother, and he's just like, just show up. Just show up, have fun, maybe drop 40, you know? Just let it fly, right? So I show up, and it's just one of those things. You just
let it fly.
Oh man, that was a fun night.
Yeah, no doubt. So I mean, I've had my moments in basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, I played high school basketball against Patrick Ewing way back in the day, and I had 46 points against Patrick Ewing's team. Cambridge Ridge and Latin. Unfortunately, they beat us by 50. So that's not going to work out.
There's only so much you can do.
There's only so much you can do. Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit more about you and what you do, your financial life. Let's see. Leadership and planning, two big words, right? What's your go-to strategy when it comes to that, when kind of life throws you a curveball in your plan?
I mean, I think the first thing, in life, not even planning, is to not panic. keep your feet on the ground, and just look at the situation, right? Don't ever panic. From a financial standpoint, if things aren't going your way, I think that's when you need to bring in some help, right? A lot of people navigate this path on their own, and to a lot of people's credit, they do a great job.
Right.
But typically, you're good at what you do on a daily basis. You're not so good at some other things like planning, retirement, day-to-day planning. That's when you might want to bring in, fresh eyes.
Yeah.
And for us, we work as a team. So when you get me, you get a whole team behind me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So if Tony Davis is sitting down doing his planning with me, he's actually getting an entire team working on different things that they specialize in collectively, right? So, a lot of the time I'm quarterbacking and bringing in resource as I see fit. And the client wins because it's multiple people working on one case.
Wow.
Or one plan. Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So we're going to talk about Fortify LLC in a little bit.
Man, I'm
we're going to talk
about
that. Has anyone ever given you, say, some advice about money or leadership, and then it just sounded wrong at the time, but then all of a sudden it ended up working out?
Leadership, I'll never forget it. I got into leadership at a young age with a staffing firm out of Wakefield. And I remember in the process of trying to get into leadership, I had my manager at the time basically tell me on a day when I was having a bad day, you can't have a bad day in leadership or management, right?
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I'm like, I can't have a bad day. Like I literally just got into a car accident. My first car that I bought on my own, I smashed it up.
Right.
I come into work and I'm just harping on it all day, right? And looking back at it now, she's right. I mean, not that you're not allowed to feel a certain way, not that you're not allowed to have bad days, but when you go into the office, it's counterproductive to bring everybody else down because you had something happen outside of the office. You still got to have business to do, right?
Absolutely.
So for me, I've always remembered what it sounded like when I heard it. It aggravated me.
Right.
To then understanding that, like I read a book, The Energy Bus, and I love The Energy Bus because the basic premise is, you want to align yourself with positive people and remove energy vampires from your life.
For sure.
And we all have energy vampires.
Oh,
that we
no
know
question.
that every day is a bad day. Everything, woe is me, this happened to me, and it just sucks the positive energy out of the room.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that person.
Yeah, right.
Right? And
exactly.
You want to align yourself with people that are actually bringing positivity. So that's a line that hit me weird when I heard it, and it kind of bothered me, but then it totally makes sense.
Yeah, no question. So usually it's funny, once you get that experience, and you sit back and take a look at it, you're like, I guess that person's right.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
And I look at it like in life in general too. Like, I don't need to come home and if I had a bad day at work, have my wife and kids feel that.
Right.
Not that you can't feel a certain way, but they don't need me bringing that home.
Exactly.
So I've always just kind of kept that right here.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I coach all my sons in basketball, right? So Austin's a pretty good player.
Yep.
Cameron's a pretty good player. Ash is a pretty good player. And my wife would say to me, you can't bring what you did on the court home if it wasn't really good.
That's right.
And she's 100% correct. She's right. We can't bring all of that baggage
100%.
home.
And I'm coaching my girls now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's tough though to separate it, right?
It's tough.
It is. It's hard. but it's so much fun.
It is.
What's the most surprising lesson you've learned from working with your clients?
I would just say that the education that's needed, when you sit down with clients, what they don't know is surprising, and you lose sight of the fact that you do this on a daily basis. So you understand certain things that somebody that doesn't do this on a daily basis doesn't know. So just the education piece, sitting down with clients and educating them on things that I'm aware of that I'm a little surprised they're not sometimes. Basic stuff. So for me, it's just the knowledge that we bring to the table that clients desperately need and really don't have. I mean, some people do, and there's a lot of information out there, but that adds to the confusion.
Right.
You go on Google, you go online, right? Everyone's an expert, and it's like, depending on what you're reading and from who, you're getting knowledge that may or may not be correct. So it's definitely an interesting landscape, but I would say that just the need for education is always surprising when I'm sitting down with people.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And to be educated about something that you don't know about is enlightening.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I didn't really know about that.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, and I think there's a way to do it without making the client or person feel uncomfortable, because listen, what we talk about is very nerve-wracking. It's not always a comfortable conversation. You're talking about if it's insurance, worst case scenario, someone dies, what's that look like? Retirement, what if you don't have enough? These aren't conversations that people wake up and, hey, let's talk about this today, right? So there's a fine line between the way you deliver that information. And we take a very solutions-based approach with education, and just my goal would be for you to leave and be able to tell me what I told you.
Yeah, exactly.
And understand it.
And understand it. Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I'm getting an education just listening. It's awesome. What's a financial myth you love busting?
Yeah, so I would, there's a lot, but I would say that people that believe that contributing to their 401k or whatever company-based retirement plan is enough. You hear it all the time, like, oh, I'll be fine. I contribute to my 401k.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, but that's how everybody is, right? So I look at retirement like a mountain. All right, so you're saving money and you're investing money into whatever plan, 401k. That's fine, but how are you going to get down that mountain when you get into retirement? There's a distribution strategy that needs to happen that you're not going to get from your 401k plan administrator. You're not like your 401k. A lot of people don't know what they're invested in. They're not really getting any advice. They're just socking money in, getting the match, which is great. Right. But there's planning in place that needs to happen on the way down. Like you talk to people that are retiring, that money stops coming in, the money's spending down. That's an anxious feeling. Yeah. So if you don't have a plan to not outlive your money, it's a nerve-wracking feeling. So when you talk to people, they're like, oh, I'm fine. I got money in my 401k. What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to know what that means.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. But do you know how much money you're going to need in retirement?
Exactly. Most people don't know that. So someone said to me the other day, there's a term, is it LUI? Is that something you're familiar with? LUI. Do
you know what the acronym?
Life, something to do with you pay into a life insurance policy and it continues to grow. And then even if you stop paying, it still grows. Yeah,
we do a ton of work in that space. Basically, it's the living benefits of permanent life insurance. And there's all kinds of vehicles you can use, whether it's whole life, index universal life. But the premise there is when you think about death benefit, when you think about life insurance, you think death benefit. I'm just getting it just in case something happens to me or something happens to my wife. But then there are the people that buy permanent insurance for the benefit of the tax-free compounding growth inside of the policies that you basically take a loan out against, and you can use it for retirement, you can use it for college. It's really, it's fun stuff. We do a ton of work in that space.
Wow. Yeah. So I just learned something again.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Jay, for sharing that.
You got it.
Tell us about a time a client conversation completely changed your perspective.
All right, we're gonna get deep here.
Yes, indeed.
So I had a college friend reach out to me years ago. To his credit, proactively wanted to get life insurance. He was having a kid. He just got married. We're going through the process, and we're going through the fact finder. We're talking through his income and the type of money that he's making. And I made a recommendation on how much death benefit he should have. Right. We took him through underwriting, got approved, and when push came to shove, he wanted to take half of what I suggested. Oh. So I suggested a dollar amount because I'm looking at a timeline of about 20 years. Typically, the math equation is your income pushed out as long as you want to provide that money for your wife and kids. Exactly. So I suggested X. He wanted half of that. And I said, listen, at the end of the day, this is your plan. This is for you. Fast forward, he gets sick, passes away. Oh, boy. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, he's got a young kid and a wife. Right. And if he listened to me, he would have twice as much money as I'm able to help his wife get, right? Yeah. So that conversation of, should I have pushed a little harder? But it's one of those things that it shows you the impact of what we do on a daily basis, and the impact's strong. He was still able, God rest his soul, to provide his wife and kids a big chunk of money. Yeah. So good for him. Yeah. But it just shows you could have had twice that amount. Right.
And most people don't realize that because they feel like, oh, wait, that's too much of a risk for me. I'm only going to go half in.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, like, the money wasn't that much of a difference. But the assumption all the time, oh, my wife will be fine, my kids will be fine, and you know. So that was a conversation / meeting and process that, you know, I think about a lot. It was also the first death claim that I ever had to go through that process, and it was tough having to be a friend. But you know, luckily he did get something in place.
Well, good.
Yeah.
You know, all's well that ends well, sort of. You know what I mean?
And it feels nice to know that they did get
a little security.
Yeah, and it wasn't a small amount of money, but I wish it was twice what she got.
Exactly, I hear you. So, what lessons from your personal life have most influenced your professional career? And maybe your philosophy too. What's your professional philosophy?
I think we almost went down that path. And it was really the struggle of going through at Cushing, blowing out my ankle. I went to, leaving Gloucester High, I had, you know, a handful of D1 looks, colleges calling, Coach Cahill, super exciting. Prep school, I think, was needed more for the academic piece to it. Blew out my ankle in the first scrimmage. So when you're doing a PG year, it's a showcase year. Yeah. You can't be hurt.
You can't be hurt.
So I rushed back. Had a really good season, led the team in scoring. We did very good. I ended up blowing my ankle out again at Fitchburg. So I redshirt at St. Joe's. I'm chomping at the bit to get going. First scrimmage again, blow out my ankle. And both times it was a jump shot, and it wasn't a roll. Jump shot straight up, and it caves in. So the ligaments around the ankle. That seriously impacted my mobility, my athleticism. It took me a long time to crawl out of the feeling sorry, like, oh, I should have been playing here, but I ended up here. And that, you know, I'm watching guys that I play, like Anthony Anderson, like guys I played against forever, playing on a big stage, and I'm like, man,
that could be me.
Poor me.
Yeah, right.
But you know what? At the end of the day, I think everything happens for a reason. I wouldn't change anything because I think your path is your path, and I wouldn't want to change any aspect of my life right now.
Right.
But it took me a long time to learn that things happen for a reason.
No question. So
adversity.
I don't mean to cut you off, but my parents used to tell me that. My dad said this to me one time, and I'll never forget this. I think I was 13 or 14. He said, sometimes a man or woman will meet their destiny on the road they took to avoid it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does that mean? I'm 13, right?
That's deep.
And I started thinking about it. And then as I went through my life, because I have 7 kids of my own, everybody hits adversity. Everybody goes through something. Everybody has a story to tell.
Yeah,
right?
And I think overcoming adversity is one of the best things that can happen to you. Not in the moment.
Right.
You don't know yet.
Exactly.
But it's needed. So I would just say my path in basketball after high school, I think taught me a lot about overcoming adversity, and I think it's carried with me throughout life, and I think I'll be able to share it with my girls, members of my teams.
Right.
So it's, you know, it would have been nice if everything worked out perfect, but we both know that doesn't happen.
It never happened. That's right. You're right, Jay. It doesn't. You just have to keep going, right?
That's it.
Put one foot in front of the other and keep on going.
Yep.
So what keeps you grounded in an industry that often chases trends and high stakes?
I just think you have to stay focused on your core principles and the foundation of what type of planning you do. I think a big piece that's exciting right now is AI. So AI is a huge piece to a very old industry. So the tech aspect of what's going on with AI is really, really cool, and I see the benefits, but I think keeping true to your foundational planning basics can keep you grounded. I mean, what we do is in its simplest terms is we sit down and we basically create solutions for people, whether it's for their business or their personal lives, and it's all depending on what we discover through that process of getting to know them better.
No question. Tell us a little bit about your family, right? Tell me a little bit about your dad and your mom. What did your dad do for a living?
So my father's my business partner with Life Solutions Group. He founded Life Solutions Group December of 2010. I joined him in January 2011. My story is all based on my childhood and my upbringing. So my parents were 18 and 17 when they had me and my twin brother. My father went to Worcester Academy for football, blew out his knee. Then he went to UMaine, walked on and played football with a wife and 2 kids. graduated a semester early, got into financial services right out of college, not making a lot of money. My mother was waitressing breakfast and dinners. It was, you know, it was a struggle, man, but it showed me what hard work can do. And I watched my father's progression from being a kid, working his way up the ladder to being a corporate executive for some of the biggest life insurance companies in the industry. And I never forgot what it took to get there.
Yeah, and that's the footprints he left on you.
100%.
As a person, seeing my dad do this thing. My dad's kicking butt, man. He's doing best he can, and those footprints carried over, and now you're taking those same footprints
100%.
and you're doing that with your clients and with your wife and your kids and all of that. And that's the beauty of footprints. That's why we love them.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. Couple more questions. You're known for like sort of keeping things light and engaging, right?
Sure.
Of course, right? So how do you use humor and use it sort of to relay it and sort of relate it to your work, your role at work?
Oh, it's easy. I mean, I've known you for a long time. You know my personality. I try to humanize everything. I think that when you're sitting down with me, my job is to initially get you comfortable and read your personality and understand how you're gonna listen to me in the easiest sense. So like I'm gonna basically be a chameleon, sit down with you, read your personality, and make you as comfortable as possible. So you know, humor, current events, sports, which let's stay away from that. I don't even want to think about. I don't even want to think about anything.
Let's not talk about it.
I was talking to my brother earlier. I think we might just take the summer off from basketball. But anyways, just figure out what interests your clients have, and then spend time talking about that.
Yeah, no question. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Once you humanize that and you connect on that level, they trust you. And that's the beautiful part of a relationship when you're actually helping someone like
100%.
that, right? So speaking of helping someone, Jay has just launched a new venture called Fortified LLC, and he's one of the founding partners. And they just publicly launched the other day. I think it was May 6th.
Yeah, it was like,
right?
I think it was last week.
So I'm looking at the press release here, and I'm like, wow. This, ladies and gentlemen, is amazing. So a couple things. It marks the official launch of Fortified LLC. May 6th was, and it's an innovative private client advisory firm created through the strategic alliance of 3 specialized financial service firms. 1, Gordon and Company, right? A leading CPA firm. Then Life Solutions Group, of course, which Jay is a part of. Independent Financial Planning. And then, is this Joseph Financial?
Joshby.
Joshby. Okay, thank you, staying corrected. Joshby Financial as an established wealth management firm. So, like Jay said earlier, these guys, when you get him, you get everybody. Which is amazing. What I like about this is really different, though, because you don't need $100 million in order to be able to find some financial footing in the world, right? And that's what Fortified LLC does. They provide that for you. It was created to address a critical gap in the market. That I really love. And what I also like is the successful business owners and professionals, they face increasingly complex financial things in their life, right? All these challenges. And now they have some place to go. They have some firm that they can say, you know what, I've got this going on. I'm not quite up there yet, but maybe these guys can help me. And it's a beautiful thing. So unlike traditional wealth management models that often require, like I said, 100 million or more in investment type of capital or assets, they have designed its service specifically for business owners and high achieving individuals who have created significant wealth, but fall a little bit below that ultra high net worth type of people, which is really kind of cool. That's amazing, man, to think that you did that. So what sparked that, by the way?
So I'm excited. So collectively, through the 3 companies that you just referenced, Gorton and Company, Life Solutions Group, Joshby Financial, we listen to our clients. And what our clients really want is more information from fewer people. So when you need your taxes done, or you need an estate plan done, or you need your money managed in the market, or you need life insurance, or if you're a business owner, you need group benefits. Like, think about all the things I just listed off.
Yeah.
Now picture if you have to call somebody different for every one of those things.
That's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So basically, with the strategic alliance of those three companies, all working together under one entity, Fortify, right? So Fortify, and the tagline is your legacy. So basically strengthen and protect your legacy. We're able to provide all these services under one roof with one team. We're all talking together collectively as a group. So the client walks through the door and gets to have all those services done by one team.
Wow.
And the term family office is a term that we don't use. A lot of the services we provide are very similar, but a family office like Goldman Sachs, you can't even get in unless you hit a certain liquidity amount or net worth amount. And a lot of the time you're talking 25 million, 50 million, 100 million. So we're saying you might not qualify for those folks, but we're happy to help.
We're happy to help.
We're happy to work with you and provide kind of a one-stop shop of taxes, planning, benefits, and even estate planning. So
wow.
Yeah, I'm fired up. It's been I've been working on this for about 8 months now.
That's
8
amazing.
or 9 months. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
I'll tell you something. I'm really proud of you. I'm proud that I had a chance to coach you.
Appreciate that.
Back in the day, and I knew you came from good stuff right away. And it's just, as a coach and as an educator and as your friend, I'm happy to see that you've achieved these things in your life, because, like you said, adversity hits everybody, and we're able to overcome it and achieve what we really want to do in our life. And
I
those are the
appreciate
footprints.
that a lot, man.
No, I mean it's true.
I appreciate it.
It's true. So, for fun, if you could just write like a financial advice book with a wild, attention-grabbing like line or title, what would it be called?
Don't outlive your money.
Okay.
A guide to being retirement ready.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a book in the making, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it. Let's go.
We like it. Let's go.
Give me a call. Somebody want to ghostwrite it?
Yes, sir. Jay will just narrate it. And you can ghostwrite it for him. It'll be awesome. So now, if you and your lovely wife, Keisha, is that what her name is?
Right.
Could go anywhere in the world, money was no object, where would you take her and why?
I should know this answer because she tells me quite a bit where she likes to go. I would say that I'd love to take her to Italy. Portugal's another area she'd love to go to. Anywhere tropical, warm, beaches.
I love that.
That's it.
Yeah, me too. I'm for the tropical and the warm beach. Yeah, no doubt.
The big question is, do we bring the 4 girls or we keep them home?
I don't know.
Changes the dynamic.
I don't know. I think you got to get a sitter.
I know.
Yeah,
I agree.
so you can enjoy yourself.
I agree, 100%.
Right? And one final question: if you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, famous athlete, non-famous athlete, whatever, anybody, actor, who would it be and why?
It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, it's just, I've always said he's the one guy that I think I would be nervous to meet. Just because since I was this big, that was my guy.
That was your guy, yeah.
That's why I'm a North Carolina diehard.
Yeah.
Obviously a Bulls guy when he was there.
No question.
And then you just look at outside of basketball, what he's done. I mean,
well, what's amazing to me is that these guys today, these young bucks, I call them, they have what's called recency bias, right? They love LeBron. And don't get me wrong, LeBron is tremendous, right? But I always say to these young bucks, how can LeBron be the GOAT when he's not even better than Kobe? No. And Kobe was not better than MJ.
And the difference is Kobe's a killer. I don't think LeBron's a killer.
Exactly.
LeBron's a freak.
Yeah, no question.
I mean, give me a bite. Kobe is the closest thing to MJ.
Exactly. And that's what I try to tell my sons, but hint, Ash, MJ's the GOAT.
The GOAT. It's not even up for debate.
You heard it first here from Jay Pratt.
100%.
Yeah, yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure to have sat down today with President of Life Solutions Group, Jay Pratt, and share a little information about his footprints and his journey, and hopefully it'll help you as well. And I just want you to know that Jay's a thoughtful and sharp and insightful guy. And I'll tell you, it's been really fun to be able to sit down and talk to you and share some of the insights about who you are. And so I say this to you, ladies and gentlemen, keep learning, keep growing, and keep leaving your unique footprint on the world. And until next time, I always ask you this question: who left a footprint on you? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Oh, before that, I must tell you, please follow us on Spotify or any of the all streaming, like where you get your podcast from. It doesn't matter. Podbean, Pod Addict, all those. And also we're on channel 22. But again, I appreciate you, and who left a footprint on you? See you next time. Bye-bye.